everyone, it's dietitians Shamy here.
Hello.
Hello, I am Amy.
And I'm Shay.
And we are back on here today to talk a little bit about appetite. Appetite's something that we talk a lot about with our patients because often people can struggle with it. It can be something that disappears quite easily in a lot of patients with invisible illness.
It might not have an appetite, it might just be appearing in the evenings and quite ravenously as well.
Yeah, so it can be a little bit more complex than what people give it credit for. So we thought we'd jump on here today and talk to you about that. And we're just going to start with a few reasons why appetite might be low or something that you struggle with.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a few reasons that we see commonly as to why people might have a decreased appetite, no appetite. And the first one could be medication. A common medication could be stimulants for conditions like ADHD, which decreases and suppresses the appetite. It could also be we just ignore those hunger cues. So you might at some point, be experiencing that rumbly stomach, feeling a bit hungry at work, but you need to push through because you've got some deadlines, you're studying, you might be feeling super stressed, and you push through. But then over time, if we continue those patterns, those hunger cues might just disappear or decrease. In that same ballpark, stress and anxiety, feeling stressed and anxious, you might have experienced that you're not really feeling hungry or you have knots in your stomach and you don't feel like eating, and that might be a regular occurrence for some people, so they regularly don't have an appetite at certain points in the day. And another one as well is gastrointestinal symptoms, so things like nausea or bloating. It could be a decrease in appetite because it's just counterintuitive to want to eat if you're feeling nauseous, or if you know that food is going to cause bloating, you might be, again, ignoring those hunger cues to prevent experiencing some of those gastrointestinal symptoms.
Yeah, definitely. And another reason that we thought was important to mention is people who are neurodivergent often struggle with appetite because of some decreased interoception. So interoception is the body's, basically your ability to understand your body's internal cues and kind of hear them. And it's things like our body, when we have a dry mouth, like that signaling that we're thirsty, or maybe a grumbling stomach signaling that we're hungry. So in this population, like those signals can be really hard to find and understand.
Yeah. And some people might resonate with, playing a video game for hours and forgetting to even have a sip of water, or going to 2 o'clock and realizing that they haven't eaten, but not actually feeling those internal cues or understanding certain cues is your body's signs of hunger.
Yeah, and everyone's signs of hunger can be different as well. It's not that straightforward, so we definitely are keen to film a video on that to talk through that in a little bit more detail, so keep an eye out for that. Cool, so what we want to talk about now is something that can be really helpful in trying to bring your appetite back again, is trying to eat more regularly. So this is something that we go through individually with our patients. So if it's something that you're struggling with and you'd like some support with, the dietitians at Active Health Clinic can definitely help you with that in a more personalised way. But we thought today we'd just go through some general tips and things to get you started with, all right, if you're going to try and eat more regularly in a way that's different and might be a little bit difficult to start with, what are some things you can do to make it a little bit easier?
Yeah, if you're not ready to book in with one of us and chat to us about appetite regulation or your eating, that's completely fine. But if you want that more personalised experience, talking through the kind of foods that you like to eat, etc., we're always happy to help. But yeah, some quick tips in terms of getting started is anything is better than nothing. So we always say, eating 3 almonds or 2 crackers is better than not having that meal at all. So it's not having that all or nothing mentality. You don't have to sit down and eat a full 3-course meal for it to be worthwhile. Any small amount of food is still going to help you build up that regularity with eating, and hopefully over time help you connect in with those hunger cues and potentially find those hunger cues. Another thing that can be helpful is liquid nutrition, maybe better tolerated, and we see that in our OI and POTS population. They often people with Hawaiian POTS can feel nauseous, especially in the mornings. And so sometimes the liquid types of foods can be better tolerated, easier on the stomach, and that still counts. So even if you're not used to eating lunch, but you're used to having breakfast, and maybe you're feeling a bit unwell in the afternoon, see if liquid's okay though. Is having a smoothie okay? Maybe an up and go, like a smoothie bowl even, things like that, soup. Any other liquids you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh, even like a milk Milo can be a bit of a good one as well. You might feel like that doesn't count, but it actually does.
Yeah.
So
Miso soup,
yeah, definitely.
something on as well.
yeah. And that sort of brings us to the next point that we had, which is with this, you really want to start with foods that you view as safe and that you're comfortable with, and foods that you sort of know that you enjoy or you're happy with, 90% of the time, because it's pretty hard when we're trying to build our appetite if you're throwing in foods that you aren't used to. So that's pretty important.
Yeah, and we don't have to start with new foods. It's not about variety at the beginning, it's just about regularity. So if there is foods that you feel safe having all the time, or 90% of the time you enjoy that food, go have that food at this point in time. And I don't know if I've said this saying already, but it doesn't matter what you eat or how much at the beginning. It's just about the regularity. So yeah, go for the foods that are safe, comfortable, or that you enjoy.
Yeah, awesome.
And what's our last point?
And our last point is, so sometimes, this isn't for everyone, but for some people, when your appetite's low, trying to have things like water or other hydrating fluids at the same time as eating or just before eating can get in the way a little bit. Like sometimes it can you can have that and then your desire to have something to eat can reduce. So sometimes it can be handy to try and separate the foods and fluids a bit when you're trying to introduce these more regular meal times.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess, I know we just talked about having like liquid food or liquid nutrition is, still a great option. This is more talking about if you aren't usually that hungry at lunchtime, filling up your stomach with a lot of water before eating, you're going to feel full quicker. So let's try and reduce that by, reducing how much water, like Amy mentioned, maybe even juice, if you're planning to eat a solid food. So, if you're like, okay, I want to try and have maybe a sandwich, or maybe it is a packet of crackers, but you usually feel full halfway through. If you're having fluid like water and juice or milk or coffee and tea around that time, try and remove that away from that meal time and see if you can tolerate a bit more food.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all from us today. So thanks so much for listening, and if you want more information on this, please reach out to our team of dietitians at Active Health Clinic. We'd love to hear from you.
See you next time.
Bye.